last 2 years, I have never been more grateful for owning a camper van. Chris and I were lucky enough to get away for another long weekend. This time we went to a completely different country and we went to Wales. We were mainly in the Brecon Beacons area, and then after that we spent some time on the English border in the Wye Valley. The scenery was absolutely beautiful, so I hope you enjoy watching. The freedom of being able to get away whenever you want is the epitome of van life. If someone who enjoys luxury hotels, apartments by the pool or Airbnbs in a fashionable city asks why someone would choose a camper van as a holiday, I am betting the word freedom comes up in the answer. You don't need to necessarily book anywhere to stay, you don't need to be on anyone else's schedule, you can arrive when you want and leave when you want and travel anywhere you want. And without having somewhere to get back to every evening, I think you're also much more likely to explore further afield and discover new places. Hey, that's a red kite! I think that's a red kite! Oh my god!
Massive, wasn't it?
It was massive! Much bigger than a buzzard! And we did a lot of that in this trip. I'm afraid you'll see lots of roads because we did lots of travelling from one place to another and yeah, just finding out about new places. Well, that did miss the shearing, didn't it?
Yeah.
So after visiting that beautiful waterfall, we made our way to Brecon, the town, and I've got no clips at all of this bit because Merlin was basically a little sod, to put it in the most polite way I can. It was really hard to look around that town properly and definitely couldn't, yeah, his harness broke, and we realised that the collar that we had, the new collar that we'd brought with us, was too big, so he knew he could get out of it, which made the trip a little stressful. So I'm afraid no clips of Brecon. So straight away back to the lovely views. Can't get a sense of the steepness on the camera. In a camper van, you also have everything you need with you all the time. Can you imagine how useful that is? Never again will you go off somewhere for the day and realise you've left the sun cream or the umbrella in the hotel room. As long as you remember to pack it in the first place, it will always be there with you, and that is just brilliant. If you have access to electricity via solar panels or batteries and can power a small fridge, then you can also have your food with you whenever you want it. On every trip in the van, we park up somewhere with a lovely view and make ourselves a meal, and this feels like such a luxury. It's a time when you slow down, you stop exploring, and you actually relax for a few minutes and take in your surroundings while you eat. We have almost every breakfast, lunch or dinner looking out at countryside or a seascape, and that really just makes me so happy. I just love being out in nature. It's just so calming.
I don't think you really want to do that.
Oh! You just jump right in there. Oh man.
I think it was
Seems alright. Of course, the space is a huge advantage as well. Changing in and out of a wetsuit in the privacy of your own van is a hell of a lot easier than trying to keep your dignity with just a towel for protection. And the space when you've got a family is wonderful. In an ideal summer, we'd be eating picnics with our kids in the great outdoors, but I live in England and that really can't be relied upon. So when we were on holiday in the camper van with kids, it was lovely to actually sit and face each other while we had lunch in the pouring rain, rather than just passing back sandwiches to the back seats of the car. Yeah, and obviously the space for kids to spread out and play a bit more is great as well. And I mentioned the wetsuit changing, but as you probably know, I'm often changing outfits throughout the day for photo shoots, whether that's for my clothing business, Threads of a Fairy Tale, or for Instagram, or my blog occasionally. And my goodness, that is a whole lot easier in a van. When we're in America and I'm changing for photos, it's so hard in the car, it really is. So having the camper van is a real plus point for me. Of course, I'm not saying there's anything at all wrong with other kinds of holidays. I'm just trying to explain if you're wondering why camper van holidays are so popular and why we love it so much. There are disadvantages too, of course. Sometimes not knowing where you're going to be sleeping that night can be stressful. And we still haven't sorted a heated shower yet. That will be coming though. At least Chris better get that sorted soon. I've still got that to do. And the heating. But yeah, hopefully that's a project that is coming up shortly. So this place we stopped at was called the Cayman. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that properly at all, and the reason why I'm not telling you very many place names is that I just won't be able to pronounce the Welsh names. And definitely can't do anything in the Welsh accent, which by the way is beautiful. I loved hearing the local people speak. And just here, this area was just chock-a-block full of butterflies. So I did try and get a photograph, but was unsuccessful. They were just fluttering too fast, which is a shame. But never mind, it was very pleasant nonetheless. Just pause there a minute with my camera. And then our next stop was at Ross-on-Wye. So this is the River Wye here, and such a beautiful evening. I love being by water, I really do. I love being by a river in the summer evening. It was very, very pleasant indeed. And the next morning we actually went into the town Ross, I think it's just called Ross to locals, or Ross-on-Wye, and had a look around, and it was a very lovely town. Highly recommend visiting there. Very pretty and some lovely little shops. As soon as I stopped recording. Steady. Although we'd popped over the border briefly before. You're right now, Berlin? Come on then, let's go, carry on. This was our first proper trip to Wales and we will definitely be going back. The views were stunning and we loved the rivers and the waterfalls, and we've also heard the west coast is lovely, so when we have a bit more time we'll go further and explore that area too. Sorry. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching this week. Sorry I didn't talk to camera on this trip. I'm not really sure why, but I just wasn't feeling comfortable with it this time. Perhaps I just needed to switch off a little more. So I hope you didn't mind this sort of slightly different style of video from me this time. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I will see you again next week. Take care. Bye.
Where are we, man?
We're home. This is home.